All right, to the top right side, we're going to kick off this final of the ESL Open Cup with the blue Zerg player from Team Clash. It is Reynor. And the bottom left side, our red Protoss player is ShoWTimE. Sorry, just trying to diffuse something in Twitch chat. Just had to tab out for a moment. Alright, get this going. Gonna see this probe hopping up in towards the high ground and looking to see what's going on. Is a gate coming through? Yeah, this probe coming in. Extract going down. Hatch gas and pool, not too surprising. Last time these two played in an Open Cup, I want to say it was ShoWTimE that brought away the victory, because I was very hyped to maybe see a Reynor Clem final, then ShoWTimE came through instead. Let me double check my facts right here. Yeah, ShoWTimE 3-2 against Reynor in the semi-finals of the 72nd Open Cup. So about 4 weeks ago now. ShoWTimE is actually 2-3 against Reynor this year. He lost in a couple of other Open Cups and best of fives, and in a WardiTV Spring Championship, but he won at the Stay-at-Home Story Cup event in the group stages. So, yeah, ShoWTimE has had some mixed success against Reynor this year. I want to say if there's ever a time for ShoWTimE to kind of beat Reynor, it would be now, because I feel like Reynor is having a bit of a, like I say, Reynor's always this player who gets good at the right time, and that means he's not always at the 100% best possible player he can be. And I think right now it'd be fair to say he's not maybe quite in his best form, but he also doesn't necessarily need to be, because there's no super big tournaments happen. I mean, I say that, but he's doing pretty well in TSL and stuff, But there has been a few series lost, a few maps lost here and there, which I think a lot of people just expect Reynor to be winning every time. And maybe that's just harsh criticism because we expect so much. Let's see our hatchery going down to the low ground. So Stargate builds up from ShoWTimE. So yeah, I feel like I want to say that if there's ever a time for ShoWTimE to come up with another win against Reynor, this might be it. But the only other thing that I want to kind of say here is that on the other side of that, we got Reynor, who's kind of playing a ShoWTimE that has also maybe been a little bit bad lately compared to what we usually expect of ShoWTimE, a little bit less consistent. I don't want to start this series off by being like, both these guys aren't in the best shape right now. They've both gone on wild runs to get this far in the event, right? But they've definitely had higher peaks than where they are at this very moment. And for me, that makes this series very interesting to see who really shows up and delivers against the other guy today. Let's see what's going to happen. A couple drones go down. We do have the third hatchery setting up on the front lines. And those few Zerglings of Reynor heading across to the left side of it. Oracle going to activate. Couple of lings being picked away at. So yeah, no, I feel like, I always feel bad when I kind of lead my series off with well, you see guys, Reynor isn't that good right now. But like, that's not, it's hard to say what I mean. It's just because we have such high expectations, not just Reynor, but ShoWTimE too. When they do lose a few series in a row, or they drop some maps you maybe think they shouldn't be. That's kind of surprising. But then this is the Reynor that obviously just took down Dark in TSL. Like I say, he knows when to step it up. That's the great thing about Reynor. And while ShoWTimE's had some weird losses lately as well, I wouldn't say that it's like ShoWTimE is kind of having a slump either, right? He can still also take those, big wins, just having a little bit less consistency with it all. Let's see our queens collecting together out the front there. I'm just going to see a few oracles moving through now. If you know ShoWTimE, he will play this kind of style pretty much every single game. This is the best of 5 between ShoWTimE and Lambo in the DreamHack Masters playoffs. And he went for this 3 oracle opening every game. And he changed it up a little bit on the follow-up with how he went with the Robo, the Twilight, the Immortals or no Immortals. But every single time he opened triple oracle, and against Reynor, I might expect him to mix it up a little bit more. I mean, this is already a mix-up from what I'm talking about. He's actually going for a 4th oracle now. That's not really normal in the slightest. So that is already something a little bit different here. As these few adepts coming through the center, putting some damage onto Cryptumor. And just going to be showing up. So a couple of drones starting to go down. A few of those being picked away at. And just going to be seeing our Zerglings just getting picked off. So, yeah, I mean, a few deaths doing alright. The problem is the Oracles can't seem to get involved anywhere. It's really good coverage here. And, wow, ShoWTimE going to go very fast Robo Bay as well, by the way. So, ShoWTimE not only has 4 Oracles out, he's also going to rock that Robo Bay super early, which I imagine is for fast disruptors, with the intention on a map like this one, short rush distances, to just say, I don't want to die to anything too early in this game. I want to stay alive, I want to defend, and I want to go from there. Feelings get chased back up the rough side. We do have the Robo Bay about to finish up. And the Twilight Council building in the main base too. +1 attack upgrade coming up on that forge. Infestation Pit from Reynor is establishing in the main also here. It's just getting that up and running. Now, very fast Infestation Pit like this is pretty much usually going to be Swarm Hosts. And this map does kind of play towards Swarm Hosts as well. Short rush distance, you can move the Swarm Hosts easily. There's a lot of ledges and kind of canyons to fire the Swarm Host Locusts over, so they can fire from a safe distance, but it doesn't take up too much time on the, Swarm Host lifetime before they land. The triple or quadruple Oracle. I'm not used to saying quad Oracle, right? Can we call it the quadicle? It is now the quadicle. With the quadicle, you can really laser down those Swarm Hosts, though. If they're out of position for the slightest of moments, the quadicle will make those Swarm Hosts regret it, and that is for sure. Oracle's back around through the center. We do see a Spore Crawler out on the right. Is just gonna need some good defense here. No, the quadicle nearly got broken, but it will survive. Oh, they're gonna split apart. Back to triple Oracle on the right, which they'll just get a couple more drones. Credit to ShoWTimE, he's been doing pretty well with it. My call on Swarm Hosts was incorrect. It is just gonna be Hive and a Hydroden, so it's gonna go for the Lurkers instead. So this map can also work pretty well for Lurkers. The choke points are, plentiful. Pretty much any attack path goes through chokes. I don't know if I like it as much with, the fact that ShoWTimE already has a decent setup, already has disruptors to help against them. That's gonna get interesting because I think Reynor survives until getting the Swarm Host, the Lurkers up, right? And if he survives that long, that's usually half the battle. What kind of army will ShoWTimE be on when those Lurkers are out? How does he start to respond? Does he get caught up on this mid-game army being aggressive, or does he start thinking about tech in the near future anyway? He's getting cornered in a little bit. He needs to be able to fight out of this. The Disruptor shot's already used. The Stasis Ward doesn't catch much. One Disruptor down. The second does go down as well. He's just about able to fight himself out from that position and down the ramp. And ShoWTimE just gets out of there, but at the cost of a couple of important units, which he would have much preferred to have kept alive. Ravager Ling gonna come back through the center as we just have the few additional Vipers coming through. The Lurkers are still on their way as well from Reynor. As you got our Stalkers pulling back down the bottom. The few Oracles of ShoWTimE gonna go through the top. I'm kind of sad that one of the Oracles died, guys. I was kind of enjoying the quadicle, but I guess the quadicle was just not meant to be. It's a name. We'll have to just put that one away for the next time we see 4 Oracles, probably in it. Some awesome, is it Imber or do I suck, or awesome silly things in Grandmaster. I think Carson calls it the clown build, right? But that's kind of continuing to build Oracles, not just going to 4. 4 seems very intentional. I think he just wanted a 3 to harass, and he just wanted the extra one back at home to be that defense as well. It's a bit of a bigger investment. Anyway, enough about quadicles and Oracles and 3 or 4 and all of that kind of stuff. Storm is on the way up here from ShoWTimE. So he's going to have his splash damage eligible to play by the time that it gets important. Love the Parasitic Bomb and an Oracle. That's guaranteed kill, right? Yep. That's one way to get rid of the Oracles. That's actually really neat because obviously you want the Oracles alive because revelations on those Lurkers are pretty important. He doesn't know the army's around the left-hand side. The Oracle's being forced back, completely lost track of this army. Now ShoWTimE has to go up his own ramp into Lurkers to defend. That ain't pretty. Now, these Lurkers don't even have seismic spines yet, so this might even just be maybe ShoWTimE not expecting an attack so soon. They do have adaptive talents. There has been a Lurker upgrade added before this fight starts. Oh, I don't think this is it at all for ShoWTimE. This feels really bad for him. Storm's not really doing enough. There were Lings that looked like they were going up into the main. Apparently not. I mean, ShoWTimE still has a good chunk of units down on that low ground, but I just don't see how you bring them up into this fight. Disruptor production has been halted, at least out of the first Robo facility. There's a second Robo in the back as Reynor will eat a Disruptor shot on a Roach and a Ravager. And Reynor just needs to slowly move through into the natural, right? And he can continue to do so much. Kills a Disruptor right there as well. The last few units now, his reinforcements going to come through, but they're kind of rallying in a weird way. These Disruptors are starting to get some good chip damage done, man. So much of Reynor's supply right now is in production. Big Blinding Cloud going to slow down this army from getting up the ramp, and ShoWTimE finds himself a cleanup. The Vipers do not want to turn. That would have put them maybe in range of the Stalkers blinking underneath them, and that is something you really want to avoid. Gonna attack the right side now. It's a bit of a switch, change of pace from Reynor, as this was a bit of an easy position to get his reinforcements into, that's for sure. But again, Disruptors showing up, and not that many Lurkers all at once, and that kind of takes away from the power of what, you know, a lot of Lurkers can be. Maybe Reynor needs to slow this down and go just a little bit slower into it. I love the Contaminate on the Disruptor just to slow that down a little bit, but I'll say at the end of the day, kinda feels pretty good if you're a ShoWTimE fan, because he is now surviving what was not necessarily looking to be a survival game a little while ago. Let's see what happens. He's got more fights to take yet. It's far from being done, as he's going to fight full force into this one. Disruptors get yoinked in. That's going to be a great start to the fight from Reynor. That's a lot done there right away. Now Disruptors firing through. Those Lurkers taking damage. Oh, ShoWTimE's army is just disappearing. I thought this was looking okay for ShoWTimE after cleaning up a couple of those Lurkers, but this fight really wasn't it, and this time Reynor really had the spell casting and the Lurker support to get the point home and to go up 1-0. For the love, guys, let's dive into our second game. You start off on the top right side of the map. Down a map is going to be ShoWTimE. I felt like he was almost there, you know, in terms of getting back into it and stabilizing a little bit. That last fight was just terrible for him, though, and there was no recovering from that as Reynor shows up and gets the first map. Nicely done. Especially when Reynor hit that bottom right side the first time and those first few Lurkers went down pretty easy. I was like, oh, okay then. Here we go. Here we go. And then the next thing you know, it's like, oh, no. Because the next thing that's happening is there's a few more units there. The Disruptors are yoinked, and yeah, ShoWTimE just can't clean up the follow-up, which is a bit of a shame. Alright, well, Gateway going down from ShoWTimE in the front of the natural, the Overlord heading through toward the center, and a couple of drones on the way up over the hatchery on the natural, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. Standard stuff, right? The biggest thing is the hatchery gets down on the natural. ShoWTimE doesn't get to block that or anything, so hatchery goes in location. I mean, that's a rarity, guys. Take out your cameras or get that print screen button and you press it, because a natural expansion actually on the natural, yeah, it doesn't happen every day in PvZ nowadays. Does it just have our game number 2 establishing here? Finals of ESL Open Cup Europe number 76. Can you believe we've done 76 of these bad boys? Well, that really is a good one. Crazy. The quadicle should have been called a foracle. Oh, that's just so good, and I missed it. Well, I'm gonna hard stand by the quadicle. You know, I can't go back on my quadicle, bro. If the foracle just makes too much sense for me. A smarter caster will come up with that one. Just kidding. You just wait until like DreamHack season finals. I'm gonna crack out the foracle and be like, oh, we should call this a foracle and look really smart when we've got more viewers. And everyone's like, whoa, Wardy's so clever. And I'll just be like, George R.R. Marble, you have basically sealed my career in Starcraft 2 history. Nice. Stargate opening a game from ShoWTimE. I do expect him to mix it up a little bit though. I would be shocked if he tries to triple or foracle, you know, multiple times in a row. But then it is ShoWTimE. That's his go-to. That's his standard. And he is one of the few players that still plays this style PvZ. Map like Oxide, though, it's weak to queen walks. And this is the kind of map which obviously queen walks are very accessible on. You can get across quickly, easily. I wouldn't want to be the one queen walking, actually. So I wouldn't want to be the one facing a queen walk with, 3 oracles in place, so... Maybe we'll see. Starts off with an oracle, still a chance to switch it up a little bit, though, so... we will see. Ling's gonna come in, jump on top of a Adept. As 2 drones go down, not a bad start, because it's a pretty major drone pull as well, right? You lose a lot of mining from pulling those drones away from the Adepts there. All those Lings of Reynor going to start moving up to the top. It's just going to be seeing our pylon can set up. An Adept going to be there. The Oracle setting around. Our Warp Gate is going to be coming through on the Cyber Coast. Just getting that finished up. A couple of Lings, well, one of them already falling. Going to be seeing the Queen production continuing through. Nexus on the 3rd. Really, I mean, just going to see triple Oracle again, and I mean, on we go. Onwards and upwards in this world. Yeah, that's a donation sound. Holy crap. You can hear that and well. Check these Lings aren't going to do anything. No, we look good. I need to tab out quickly. Raven donating $30. Yo, thank you so much. Says we have a nice peaceful little start. Just thank you so much. No message attached or anything. Just bang on $30 for that daily donation goal. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Alright, well, just going to be seeing the pressure here from ShoWTimE more or less being deflected. The first 2 Adepts got instants then. Not going to see so much. Oh my god, 4 oracles again? Okay, is this just a new thing from ShoWTimE? The Foracle! No, I said I'd stand by my Quadicle, guys. Quadicle coming up again. I mean, that is really something. Huh. I wonder if the additional Oracle just makes such a difference against some of the Queen Walks you usually see, and it keeps you that much safer. And it just feels like that investment is worth it over getting a little bit of a faster Robo and stuff. I mean, to be fair, it's probably something to do with the fact he's going for the Robo Bay. Because the last time ShoWTimE was playing a lot of triple Oracle stuff, he was playing a lot of like Robo Twilight, you get Charge, and you get Immortals. In this case, you go in Disruptors pretty early on, so maybe the 4th Oracle just helps to secure you while you go Disruptors instead. Or maybe it's just something you can afford because you're not going Immortals because you're gonna get the Robo Bay, then Disruptors, right? Yeah, so it's got to be something to do with the fact he wants to go for the Robo Bay, has to turn, and he does keep the Oracles alive. And there's number 4. The squad is together again. We need like a Quadicle theme tune, guys. You know, every time. You remember back in the day, back when Stargate into Glaze was really popular, and we were like, doo-doo, coming to get you. It's Starglaze. I can't remember what it was, but we had a Starglaze theme tune. We need it for Quadicle. It used to be a bit more like badass and techno, though, like, they're coming for you. It's the Quadicles. Bam. They're like flash, a little bit of fizzle, a little bit of a flash. We can work on it. We can make some progress with that over time. This becomes the norm. We're going to have a long time to perfect it, so don't you guys worry. Full Prism is down the left-hand side, aiming toward the main base, so in it goes. And we're going to drop off a couple of Adepts here and there. Going to start dealing some damage as some drones will begin to go down. Ally upgrade and missile upgrades continuing through 2 is on the left side. The other Oracle is just going to be flying back up to the top. Let's see, our 4th Nexus already dropping into position. A couple of Disruptors moving around, and I mean, obviously a pretty passive game when it comes to actually, seeing larger attacks happen. Reynor's style, 84 drones, just going to be Lings, Banes, Roaches, Ravages. I mean, this generally is an aggressive style, right? Is there time for him to switch up and to start teching like right now? I'd imagine you're probably going to be at least a little aggressive at first. He's already sent up a drop award, so maybe looking for that multi-prong. He's got 86 workers, so, you know, there should be tech, right? There should be a future in this game for him. This isn't like a timing attack. Just when you are playing this sort of composition, you just have the mobility and you have the units that can kind of trade out well. And they're kind of designed to trade out, because you don't really want the pros to be maxing up, you know, on all the tech units without kind of slowing it down a bit. So, let's see how much he wants to try and fight. Infestation Pit is coming down, like I said, so there is a future in the tech. You know, he is kind of aiming towards something here, which maybe means he doesn't necessarily need to go too aggressive as Lings come through. They get chased away. A few of them turn back around. Lings, no, what you doing? Not like this. That was not it, guys. Now, these other Lings are going to run down. These couple of Zealots are going to fall. Ling being ravaged. A few queens pushing the prism out to the side. It's just going to be seeing our army is maxing out from Reynor. So like I said, I mean, this is still like a... You've got to go for at least a wave of an attack here, right? Hive comes up, then you rebuild a little bit off the back of this. There's a Ling drop in the main base. Out of all the things to drop off, a set of Lings is kind of an interesting choice. All 8 of them survive. Have to go on Operation Kill a Pylon. The pylon will fall. Plenty of units out the far right. A little bit more in the center. I mean, just the Oracle's going on a bit of a mission on their own. It's ShoWTimE a bit too far forward here. He was kind of protected by the stasis wards. Disruption shot's not going too badly just yet. But Reynor's coming from all angles, and this is why I was a little worried for ShoWTimE being so far forward. Banes crash in, but the thing is, a lot of these units are very tanky against Bane lanes. So ShoWTimE does come out with a decent set of units still. These Lings being caught in the stasis. They might still come through to get a couple important kills. No, they're just going to run back. An Immortal and a Disruptor that were low HP there. The Oracles went wild. One of them went down, but picks off 12 drones in the bottom right corner. So ShoWTimE not only taking a good trade, but also trading very well against the workers of his opponent too. So, honestly, just very well handled across the board right there. Now, once Zergly moves into the third base, is going to get taken down. The rest of the army from Reynor back around through the center. Alright, that Overlord's still just hanging around as well. There's a couple of Oracles coming, Banelings coming through, Oracles protecting, more Banes coming from the bottom side. Yeah, so many of these units that Reynor's taking damage with are just the units that can sort of just sit back and survive anyway, right? Like, it's not really all that problematic for him. Killings come through and kind of takes a little bit of damage. Overlord is going to get pushed back, cleaned out. So there goes the Overlord right away. Upside, these few Banes going to go crashing through. A couple of Zealots in some trouble. Stalkers trying to wall. I mean, in the end, the Banes obviously just aim for stack defense, which isn't bad either. He actually gets a few more probes at the end. And that's actually going to be a bit of a hit to ShoWTimE's economy. Just doesn't quite get away with those workers in time. 71 probes left on the map to 96 drones. As Reynor, talking about that Hive a while ago, what was actually added in from Hive? Just Adrenal Glands and +3 melee. Like, he really didn't tech up a lot. He's keeping the same army composition. And that pay out for him. Has to dodge that Disruptor shot as it comes through. Approaches mostly here to try and hold off these Archons. The Lings on the other side are doing great, taking down the 5th base of ShoWTimE. So stopping ShoWTimE from getting into additional bases at the moment. Additional Archons continue to morph on in as ShoWTimE stays aggressive. I feel like ShoWTimE knows, like, in theory, his army should do okay against what Reynor is working with. And if you fight on Reynor's side of the map, he doesn't have time to remake the Lings and then remake the Banelings, right? In theory. Yeah, but it looks as though Reynor's just about being able to find good enough fights. Anyway, Curse of Baals forced the Prism back. It was only one Baal that probably could have sat through the warp in. ShoWTimE just gets cleaned out. Reynor Credit to him, played a pretty fun game off a aggressive composition, definitely knew when to attack and how he needed to attack, and it's now 2-0. Welcome, my friends, to game number 3. Down in the bottom right-hand side, looking to try and bounce back. The quadical build ain't working. It's showtime. That's in the bottom left-hand side. It's the red Zerg player, Reynor. Up 2-0. Let's see if we can finish this off. Hey, what's up, Mario? Prison. Thank you so much for the Prime sub. I really appreciate the Prime. Thanks for using it on the stream. Appreciate the support. Sorry, it's just getting the prediction started for the Twitch chat degenerates. You can't go again a series without predicting. You guys, it's really degens. Any talk of a return to tournaments and arenas yet? It's just too difficult, right? I think the problem is just you gotta travel people from all over the world. And that becomes insanely unfair to hold like a major event that's very important for maybe qualifying a Katowice and stuff that some people might just not be able to attend because their country's restrictions are stricter or in a different place than other countries' restrictions. It just makes it very difficult to justify holding a live event because you're immediately making it, unless you can support all the players getting there and being properly looked after, it's just really difficult to guarantee you can make it a fair competition, I think, right? Stuff. Yeah, and just because any event is basically going to have people from around the world, right? So, I feel like if there's like, you know, if there's a bit more kind of local or something, or if there's like an NA only event, that might start to happen, like an NA only event or something, but something major, like the thing is with like DreamHack Masters and stuff, is the moment you run an event offline, is the moment that, say, one person can't make it because of their country's restrictions, and suddenly it's like, well, is he going to miss out on Katowice because of restrictions stopping him traveling? That's out of his control. Is that fair? I imagine that's going to be a pretty big question when it comes to bringing back offline events. So, I don't think it's like too far off. I don't think it's impossible. I just think that there's certain things or certain ways to look at it that you got to really consider as well, you know? Even casters, like, if you have to get like 5 casters to an event right now, it isn't actually that easy, right? Like some casters don't want to travel, some casters can't travel because they'd lose too much stream time, quarantine when they get back or something. Like, it's kind of crazy. Voidray is on the way up, guys. Again, this up and running. Sorry, just not really talking much about the early game, but it is going to be a change up from the Stargate at Voidray instead of the Oracle. So let's see what Showtime brings us to try and put a point on the board in this best of 5. Yeah, it's going to be a Void Ray into a Twilight Council. Starglaives, do-do-do-do-do. Just because I was singing it earlier. Ooh, 4 gates added on as well. So very aggressive glaive follow-up from Showtime. That is, that's a lot of adepts that are going to be getting made right here. So Showtime looking for the quick punch to the gut for Reynor and just trying to knock him out early. Again, just that little, you don't think 1 extra gate goes such a long way, but it really does make such a huge difference down the line as to how many adepts you end up with. And just, you know, if the Zerg has that kind of just like not quite the right amount of units, that can be a game changer, right? He's coming around looking for the probe. Is going to grab it. And Glaze is coming up. I mean, This is all hidden up in this top side as well, so it's so difficult for Reynor to know exactly what's going on. Okay, he's gonna find it. What a scout this will be for Reynor! Even the robo facility is up here from ShoWTimE. That really is something. Okay, 9 roaches on the way. Reynor's already evacuated the third base of drones. I love that, because now you just don't have to worry about the drones on the third right away. You got a little bit of time to work with. "13 roaches produced. Now an immortal on the way up. That real reinforced from the top left, so I'm kind of surprised Reynor didn't leave just a few units up there to force a reaction from ShoWTimE. Third hatchery just dies. I mean, Reynor just lets it go. This Void Ray kind of running through the middle of the map on creep ain't going to do much. Queen's going to push that away immediately. It's not really meant to do much. It just kind of wants to join the fight a bit. Adept's going to shade onto the natural mineral line. There's a lot of roaches going to collapse on them now, but not before a good few drones have gone down. And some roaches are already peeled back up into the main way ahead of time. Expected them to really commit to this collapse, because it felt like they could have maybe done a whole bunch more damage, but it's not the case. 9 drones dead. And it kind of feels like this crazy play from ShoWTimE is beginning to work out as the Adepts 2 back away. He's kept everything alive so far, as he adds 3 more gates to go to 8 in total. This is looking kind of bad for Reynor. I mean, even just getting the unit production up to deal with this after losing a third hatch. Let's see what he can do. He's going to fight up here. This is massive because the Adepts aren't here right now. The Adepts are coming in from the right-hand side, and taking the fight before they are ready to go is such a huge deal breaker. Oh, Corrosive Biles landing too. The sentries already used their energy. That's a massive start from Reynor. What a moment to pick the fight. Oh, and that could help him so much here. That could make such a big difference. Let's find out, I guess. As we have extra Stalkers warping in. On the right-hand side, those Lings going to go jump in on top of the pylons. That pylon on the right side going to go down. Reynor making sure ShoWTimE ain't expanding as he retakes his own third. The Prism takes 2 Adepts toward the natural expansion. He's going to try a magic pile. Doesn't quite land. I mean, the focus is still on this attack from ShoWTimE up here. What can Reynor do? He's trying to get himself up to a lair. He's got a lot of Ravagers, so he's got a lot of Biles to buy time. Negate force fields. Biles are going to be Reynor's best friend in this upcoming fight. And especially if you can maybe catch the Prism, although the warping's not going to be that far away, so that's something else to think about. The Biles dropping down, units back up the ramp. Reynor going to try and go up the ramp himself, just hunting for the Biles, man. He really wants them to try and connect. Things on the other side, guaranteeing that there ain't a, a third base. At least not in the normal locations. Maybe you could sneak one down over here or something really crazy to mess around in this game and to really mix it up. That's a Disruptor shot, though! And that Disruptor, first Disruptor of the game, comes out and boom, commits. And ShoWTimE really did go crazy. I actually missed the Disruptor in production. I've been looking elsewhere. So Disruptor pops out, and now it makes it so much harder for Reynor to actually take a good fight here. Because you've got to be dodging those Disruptors throughout this. Yeah, what? Did he just snipe the Observer with a bile? I think so. I think that's what just happened there. Queen takes that Disruptor shot, which at least doesn't kill the Queen, so... Man, you know what Reynor I think really needs is maybe these rocks going down, so he can have this area to fight down. I say it because I saw him move up there, but then he didn't attack the rocks. So I was still a little unsure, but yeah. It makes sense, because now you just have another area to wrap around from, right? And that helps so much. Biles down. This Disruptor shot doesn't hit on much. He's going to go chasing. Reynor wants to go push forward on this. First Disruptor shot does go off on a bunch of Ravagers, and that was not the fight from Reynor, whose supply is slipping. Can he just hold on 3 bases? I don't know if he had to fight in there. The problem is more time means more Disruptors, makes this more and more problematic. Yeah, I mean, obviously over time, ShoWTimE begins to mine out in the main base and so on, so he really is on less and less mine. Now is the kind of time to do this. I wonder if Reynor shouldn't have expanded here again. I wonder if he should have gone down here, knowing that the attack and the units are going to come from the upper left, because he saw where the proxies were, right? So knowing that, would the bottom base have been better? Because then ShoWTimE has to push further onto... I mean, obviously that creep maybe gets cleaned up, but is this a better position to defend than here? Because you get choked up on the hatchery and stuff. Oh no, the Ling Roach gets in on the other side, so the counterattack is pretty substantial from Reynor. It's going to do a lot of damage. Well, obviously, if you're doing a lot of damage here, you still need to be able to deal with this army before it just kills you, right? And Reynor do that. Another Disruptor shot. Every single time a Disruptor shot lands, it feels so painful. It seems to hit so much. I mean, ShoWTimE's going to lose pretty much every single probe. It's going to come down to very much so what is on the map for ShoWTimE. He's spending his last few minerals right now. Reynor might just have to start bringing his units back home, though, as now ShoWTimE runs up into Reynor's natural. How's Reynor going to fight here? He's not going to have production on the map himself. Oh, no. I mean, yeah, I guess you just can't go up this ramp now against this. This Void Ray is slowly killing units off, by the way. Zella 2 has stabilized ShoWTimE and 5 workers. Reynor comes up the ramp, has to dodge away. The Disruptor does get another Ravager, another big loss. Reynor's supply is down, his army supply especially. And I think that might just mean that ShoWTimE has got this game 3 to put a point on the board with the proxy everything build. Proxy and the Robo was so critical to get the Disruptors and Mortals into this fight, etc. Cross of Bowers is not going to save you here, I don't think. Oh, the Prism still to micro as well, and Reynor's army is disappearing. ShoWTimE going to make it happen on Blackburn. Yeah, Reynor is not going to find himself the 3-0 in this. ShoWTimE takes map number 3. Alright, guys, alright. We proxy series ain't done yet. Refusing to die in the bottom left. Our blue Protoss player is ShoWTimE. But what do you come up with now on 2,000 atmospheres? In the top right, our red Zerg is Reynor. Because you've obviously not won the macro games. You've won the cheesy, I put everything on your side of the map game. Oh, there's the probe to block the natural hatchery already. Coming back through, obviously just keeping up the scout and information as it should be at this stage. Nothing too out of the ordinary, nothing too surprising just yet. And yeah, 2,000 atmospheres, a larger map. I mean, maybe we see something Stargate focused from ShoWTimE, like 2 Stargates, Voids. Maybe we see the Fleet Beacon build. That doesn't strike me as something ShoWTimE would do, but it's not impossible, right? ShoWTimE is also willing to adapt when he needs to, and right now would not be a bad time to adapt to something a little different once again, right? So, let's see what he wants to try and bring out. Nice that we get a 4th map. Wouldn't like the finals to be a 3-0. Would just be a bit of a sad end to what was such a crazy cup as well, right? Like, so many upsets in this tournament. Clem out, round of 16 to Lilbo. Herobrine out, round of 32 to Ziggy. Mana out to Arrogfire. Like, it was upset city today in the ESL Open Cup Europe. Would have been a shame if the finals was just like 3-0. Let's just forget about this awesome cup because the finals were just, you know, quick and fast and done, right? So, yeah, good on ShoWTimE fighting back for us as this probe still scouting around. The feelings jump on that probe, and it is going to turn on away. Hang on, let me sort the bets out again, guys. There you go, bets are up for game 4. Have fun. Predicting with your points. Sorry, didn't want to tab out too much, but I know you guys get angsty if you don't get to waste your points on bets. Wouldn't like to upset you all, you know. Twilight Council building from ShoWTimE, so it's a Stargate into Twilight Council again, Void Ray into Glaives. This time, the Twilight Council is at home, though, so it's a little bit more regular. Will he only go 4 gates, though? Because that probe stuck around on the left. It's still going to be 5 gateways. Okay. Well, very interesting that ShoWTimE, out of all the things he decides, is that he's going to do the same as that last game again, but this time, obviously, just not proxying at all. That does mean if he wants to go for, like, an aggressive follow-up with the Immortals or so, that's just going to be way more difficult to pull off. Right? Because it's just going to be, you know, to get an aggressive follow-up, you're not going to be able to just warp Immortals in on the other side of the map, anything like that. And immediately ShoWTimE drops down a 3rd Nexus. So this already starts to be very different to what we saw before, as we are going to 5 gates still. Maybe a bit more of a fake out, maybe something that Reynor might not be able to figure out is coming. Mind game factor is definitely a big one in this, as we do see 5 Adepts warping in. And yeah, if Reynor just sort of sees that 3rd and thinks he's a little safe, when in reality there's no intention of making use of that 3rd. I think it's the oldest trick in the book in PvZ, right? The fake 3rd Nexus. It's gonna, I'm gonna mine a 3rd base, and in reality you're like, I'm never gonna mine a 3rd base. Yeah. It's a thing for sure. Adept's gonna be moving toward the front. Going to begin to shade on out. Here we go. Reynor is preparing forward 54 drones, laying Roach production. He's on his way to a lair, which is perfectly fine when you're up against this, you know, aggressive variation. But which comes after a Stargate. You can't afford a lair compared to when you're playing like 4-gate Glaives off the bats. This Queen staying alive, pulling back that transfuse heal and helping it stay alive a little while longer. Now an additional transfusion. And that Queen is, oh my god, the Adepts commit, and that Queen must be terrified. It's like, oh my god, they're finally gone. No, they stuck around. It's a good thing that they stuck around for the Zerg in general, because those Adepts all went down, and ShoWTimE just taps out of the game. Because he hasn't probed up massively behind this, and he knows he just lost all of the Adepts in a position he shouldn't have done. And so that's just that. That's the game, guys. That's the series. Well, it was only a 6-minute game number 4. But we got a game 4. At least it wasn't